For this lesson in Photoshop, we're going to use our layers panel and some layer modes to create a cool effect. I'm actually starting in Adobe Bridge, which is going to allow me to load my photos quickly in layers. So I'm going to command click the two photos I'm using. I'm going to go up to Tools, Photoshop, and load files into Photoshop layers. And you can see what's happened is I've brought both of my images in. They're in the same document, layered together. No locked background layers. And a little transformation, Command T. I'm going to hold my Shift key down to keep it in proportion. Expand this image out and just move it around. I can either hit the check mark or return when I'm done to have that in there. And of course I could manually bring in the photos, copy and paste them, but as you can see it's a little quicker to do it via Bridge. Bridge does part of the work for you. I kind of want to use this opportunity to introduce you to the Layers panel. So a couple things about the Layers panel. If you have a lot of layers, you can search by different kinds, name, so I can search news and it'll show me that layer. You have layer modes, opacity, fill values. You can reorder your layers just by dragging and dropping. You can reveal and hide them clicking that icon. Down at the bottom you have some special effects that are available. Masking, layer adjustments, which also are available up here. You can create a new layer by clicking this button. You can select multiple layers and group them together using that. And hit Command Z a couple of times, get back to where I was before. I can click on that, drag it to the trash, and delete layers. So this technique is what I like to call a sandwich technique, and we're going to sandwich these photos together. I'm actually going to create two copies of this image, and we're going to work that together with this. I'm going to hide this just momentarily, and I want to build the relationship between these two images first. So I'm going to use my layer modes for that. And layer modes, the way they work is they play with the color of the selected photo and the color and levels of the image or color below it to work together. So as you can see, you can choose some interesting effects using that. So I kind of like overlay, and I'm just kind of burning this part of the image onto here. I'm now going to reveal my top layer and experiment with what it looks like to add that. That's kind of my before, that's my after. I kind of like how it's creating some burns there. Interesting. I don't necessarily like how light it's getting over here, so I can adjust the opacity of that layer to still kind of bring that background in. So this is a good way of blending or compositing images together. When you're doing things like photo illustrations, when you would like to illustrate a point, maybe something that would be a strategic ad, and kind of promoting those images together. Things you want to look for. If I were doing this for publication, I would probably go in and do some moving of this image, only because I'm losing some of my context with this title. So I might come in and blend that a little bit more. Come in and kind of blend these two edges together so it's not as harsh, and then I still keep my title there. So basic composition does apply when we're doing this. You want to think about, what's my dominant element? Is my message obvious? Have I created an illustration that sends a message as opposed to just doing a cool technique? Obviously with this video I'm showing you some of the techniques in the layers panel, But that's the other part I wanted to impart to you. To save this, just go File, Save As, and you can save it as either a Photoshop document or a tiff. If you would like to keep those layers intact, both Photoshop and tiffs will keep those layers so you can come back, make adjustments to those down the road. And thank you very much.